All right, so you've been watching our videos for probably quite a while, and maybe this is your first time. That's okay, but you can go back and check out all of our other videos about Fort Wayne, Indiana, because my goodness, it is one of the hottest cities in the United States that people are moving to. But today we are covering the 10 things that they don't tell you about Fort Wayne. So we have a lot to cover, a lot to dive into, but if you don't know who I am, my name is Caleb. I've been living here my entire life in Fort Wayne. My wife, Stacia, we're both real estate agents. We also are on an amazing team with Frankie and Knowe Dials. You can see them in some of the videos as well. So if you want to get a hold of us, feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email, and we want to send you a free relocation guide. And then after that, we'll do a Zoom call to get to know you and what you need. All right, now number one is the cost of living. Now I do have to say the cost of living has increased over the last few years. But I think you probably know that that's not uncommon. Across the country, cost of living has gone up pretty much everywhere. Inflation has gone up, prices have gone up all across the country. But here's the good news about that, is that still in Fort Wayne, while prices have gone up, it is still well below the national average. And I'm talking about your gas, your groceries, your utilities, your cost of living, the price of homes is still way less. I was just talking to a client the other day moving from Las Vegas to Fort Wayne, and they're just shocked of the size of house, the amount of house that they can get for their budget, knowing that in where they're coming from in Las Vegas, their budget is the size of the house is way smaller, less yard than they can get here in Fort Wayne. So yes, cost of living has gone up here in Fort Wayne, but it's still way less than probably where you're at. All right, number two is job opportunities. Now, what they don't tell you is your salary, your income is probably going to be less here in Fort Wayne than your major cities across the country. But that also correlates with cost of living. If you're living in one of those bigger cities where things just cost a lot more, they know that they have to pay you more for you to live in that city, to live comfortably. But the job opportunity and the job market here is actually just continuing to get better. With places like Lincoln Financial and Google and Amazon, Sweetwater, Parkview Health, there is just so many job opportunities. No matter kind of what your field is, you can find a job here. And I was just talking to somebody the other day as well, and it's like, well, can I find a job? I really enjoy being a secretary, the front desk person, working in an office. Those jobs are plentiful. You can find one of those jobs as well. But if you have something specific that maybe you've gone to school for, that you're looking for in Fort Wayne, I have no doubt that you'll be able to find it. All right, number three is the climate here in Fort Wayne. What they don't tell you is sometimes it's not very good. I can just tell you that this year, in the months of April and May, it did just feel like it was raining all the time. It was windy, it was cloudy. And here's the feeling. It's like when April and May comes, it's like, oh, all right, summer is just about here. But it's like, it never comes, it feels like, in April and May. It's really not until June where it's like, okay, it's 70s every day. It gets to the 80s. We're going to hit 90s next week, but that's kind of rare. But people here in Fort Wayne, you just get used to it. In the winters, yes, it gets cold. Yes, we get snow, but this isn't Alaska. It's not, 30 below. It's not that bad. People just adjust. You're wearing, your hoodies, you're wearing your winter coats, your gloves, but it's not that big a deal. When you live here year round, a lot of people actually enjoy that. They can't wait for the winter, and whether that's because they wait for the lakes to freeze over so they can ice fish or go hunting or be outside with their kids making snowmen and snow forts. I used to make snow forts with my kids. I'd pack the snow, part of those recycle bins, turn them over, make these snow blocks and make these awesome forts. I have so many amazing memories with my kids in the snow. So if you're thinking about climate, yes, Fort Wayne we're not Florida, but we're not Alaska. You're not going to have those just always amazing climate in Florida, maybe Arizona, things like that. But it's that mild temperature throughout the year. It's not too bad, so I still think you'll enjoy it. All right, number four is recreational activities. What they don't tell you is some people say Fort Wayne does not have the nightlife. It doesn't have the major league sports teams. It doesn't have like just this huge variety where, you know, like Vegas, you got these shows, the top artists are going there to these major cities. So we don't really have that. We don't have the major artists usually coming in to Fort Wayne. On the flip side though, I'm 44. Birthday was yesterday. Wish me a happy birthday. My wife and I, we went out to the deck. You know, you're overlooking the river, having a nice dinner. We've been to the Clyde. There's musical artists that do come in there, live music. I mean, the art scene is actually really strong here. So there is still a ton of recreational activities. A lot of people here like to go to the lakes. A lot of sports things for your kids. A lot of new things are coming to this area because everyone knows that people are moving to Fort Wayne. It is growing, and so those activities, those artists, they know that Fort Wayne is happening, it's growing, and so we're starting to get more and more of that happening right here in Fort Wayne. All right, and so by the way, if you are thinking about moving here to Fort Wayne, we just released our brand new relocation guide that we want to send to you. It's free. It's going to really give you a ton of information. It's going to help you really decide, and how do I do this stress-free moving to Fort Wayne, Indiana? So give us a call, give us a text. My name is Caleb. My wife's name is Stacia. We're with a great team, Frankie and Knowe Dials. We have plenty of people that's going to help you make this move easy. All right, number 5 is going to be your education and schools. Now in Fort Wayne, once again, we're not one of those big cities where we have a major university right here in Fort Wayne. We really don't have that. Now we do have some smaller universities here, but a lot of people, my son just graduated high school just a couple weeks ago. He's going to Indiana Wesleyan, which is only an hour away. It's the largest private school in Indiana. But you know, you're 3-4 hours away from IU, Notre Dame, Purdue University, and then even Chicago's only 3 hours away. So there's still a lot of major universities close by. So the top schools here for the younger kids, you know, Southwest Allen, like Homestead, Northwest Allen, the Carroll School District, Northeast Fort Wayne is going to be your East Allen County Schools, Leo, places like that. And then some of the private schools, Black Hawk Christian, Canterbury is a prep school. So there is still a great variety to choose from, and I truly believe you'll be happy with the school system. All right, number 6 is shopping and dining. Now, what they don't tell you, once again, is it's not Chicago, right? We don't have the Saks Fifth Avenue that you're walking down. And you have, you know, I love going to Chicago because you've had all the major brands that are right there that you can just check out everything right there in Chicago on the strip. Now, we don't have every single major brand right here, so that's kind of the downer. But once again, you're 2 hours from Indy, a couple hours from Chicago. But like I said before, there is still a lot of those places moving here to Fort Wayne. And we do have some of them. My wife likes to go to Macy's. And of course, like every city, we have Kohl's. That don't forget to get your Kohl's cash. Which, I don't know. I kind of still think that's a scam. You buy this, they give you $30 to spend. But it's just to get you back there to spend more money. Anyway, I digress. But and so as far as the dining goes, once again, we don't have the top steakhouses that people consider across the country. But we did finally get Ruth Chris not that long ago. So if that's your thing, I do love Ruth Chris. Side note, off menu item that no one tells you about, they have the sweet potato casserole. Most people get that with their steak as a side dish. If you tell them, can you bring out 2 vanilla scoops of ice cream? It's the best dessert that you've ever had in your entire life.
Nice.
But we still have great dining here in Fort Wayne. A lot of different varieties, a lot of different ethnic varieties as well. So if that's your thing, a lot of different places to try. All right, number 7 is community and lifestyle. And potentially what they don't tell you is Fort Wayne is not going to be really known for, just this melting pot, huge diversity here. Now, like I said, as people are moving here, it is becoming more and more diverse, which to me just actually brings more value to the area. Diversity of cultures, diversity of thoughts as well. So it is becoming more and more diverse. I look at that as a positive. But we also have a lot of great festivals here as well. Johnny Appleseed Festival. And then in the summer, almost every single week, there is a different festival, German Fest, the Three Rivers Festival. So there's always something going on, especially in the summer, which is amazing to go down to check out all the different types of foods. They'll have rides, things like that. So that is growing in Fort Wayne. And so I do think that if you come here, when you move here, you will see that diversity. You'll enjoy it as well. Number 8 is transportation. What they don't tell you is, again, we don't have just this massive public transportation system as far as, your trains, your L's, your taxis. It's just really not here whatsoever. But I don't really know personally a lot of people that need it. I mean, Fort Wayne is a small enough city that you can get to anywhere and everywhere really within 20 minutes. You can Uber if you need to, but every single person I know has a car, so I don't really think that's that important. And we are really close to 69, which again is, as far as the highways go, you're gonna have no problem getting to the major cities. The traffic here, that is a good note, is that you're not gonna be stuck in traffic for an hour. A lot of people I talk to in the bigger cities, like, oh my gosh, I live 10 minutes away and it takes me 45 minutes to get home from work. I'm like, oh man, every day? That's nuts. That just does not happen here. So while we don't have that extensive transportation system, in my opinion, it's not really needed. Number 9 is going to be your safety and healthcare. What potentially they don't tell you is, for a lot of times very specific things, you might have to leave Fort Wayne to go find the medical help that you need. But generally that's for very specific things. Unfortunately, when kids are going through tough times, and we've had some friends have kids go through tough times, they have to go down to Indy to the Riley Hospital. It's one of the top children's hospital really in the world. But once again, that's 2 hours away. So it's not that bad to have to go there. But once again, with the Parkview Medical Center here, the Heart Institute, a lot of those things can be taken care of right here in Fort Wayne. But if that's something that you potentially need specific care for something going on in your life or a loved one's life, you definitely may want to check that out before you move here and say, okay, does Fort Wayne have what I need before I move there? Because maybe I don't want to travel 2 hours away for a checkup or for certain things like that. So definitely research that before you come. And definitely when we talk to you, let us know if that's something that you definitely need to make sure, and we can even do some research for you as well. All right, number 10, things you don't know about Fort Wayne, some cool facts. First of all, the first professional baseball game ever played was played right here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, so pretty cool fact. The refrigerator was invented right here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Basketball is in the blood of Fort Wayne. This is the birthplace of the NBA, the Fort Wayne Pistons, before they moved to Detroit, but it's all good. So that's another cool fact about Fort Wayne. All right, lastly, fried chicken fans already know all about this, but Colonel Sanders came to Fort Wayne looking for a franchise, met Dave Thomas. They worked together because Colonel Sanders was trying to perfect that crispy chicken that you love. So hopefully you enjoyed this video on the 10 things that they don't tell you about Fort Wayne, Indiana. But here's our hope, is that you move to Fort Wayne because this is the city that we love, and we hope it's your next home.